This episode of the DJ Force X podcast is proudly sponsored by Fixed. Fixed is a fan and artist-friendly independent record label that specialises in hybrid electronic rock. It's home to the likes of Celduella, Blue Starly, I Will Never Be the Same, Richie Nix, The Algorithm, Voicians, See the Akira, and a whole bunch more. Check out their latest label sampler for just $1 at their official store, fixedstore.com. That's F-I-X-T store.com. Save 10% off your first order by using my coupon code FORCEX. That's F-O-R-C-E-X. They have loads of shirts, hoodies, stickers, posters, and many other accessories for all their artists, and this is available worldwide with fantastic international shipping rates to go with that. So head over to fixedstore.com and check them out. And don't forget, use my coupon code FORCEX. Hello and welcome to the DJ Force X podcast, episode 46. We welcome AJ Channer to this show. He is the frontman from Fire of the Gods. They have a brand new album out on Friday today. If you're downloading this on the day of release, it's the 26th of August. It is called Narrative, and it is out via Rise Records. So if you like your sort of metal, hip-hop, reggae mix, do check it out. It's kind of like a Stuck Mojo, hacktivist kind of sound. It's awesome. They're currently on tour with OTEP. They've got a couple of dates left of that. Then they've got a couple of dates coming up after that, so do keep an eye out for them. It was a great chat, and the album is absolutely phenomenal. So I can't endorse it any more than that. It is a great album. Also, this week, I'm going to be dropping a bonus episode on Wednesday, the 29th. Just purely because I interviewed a band called Keychain, and that's when their EP drops. It's an independent release, so they're doing it off their own back. They're also about to hit the road for a 30-date tour across the States, again, all off their own back. So you're going to get a bonus this week just to give you a heads up. If you can leave some 5-star reviews on either iTunes or Stitcher, that would be greatly appreciated. Just purely so we can get some promotion out there for these bands. Get more people, get up those charts as well. Get some stuff going for that. And also, news this week, I have been given an extra radio show. The great people at Total Rock have given me an hour to broadcast these interviews that I get. Because a few of them now are coming because of I'm on Total Rock. People are contacting me because of the show. And I really want to find a slot for them because the podcast is one way of getting them out. But the radio, it's a way I can play music with them as well. That's the sort of limitation I have with the podcast without any kind of like funding coming in. I can't pay for the rights through the right people to get music played on the show that isn't already mine, or if I don't already have permission via whoever I get the music from, which is very rare when I don't have to pay for it. But with the radio show, I can do that. I can play their music and get them extra exposure. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. I am looking out for suggestions for names. I do have a couple of rubbish names that are kind of top of the pile right now because I can't think of anything. I got Chips and Dip with DJ Force X or Tea and Cakes with DJ Force X. I don't know why. I think because I was drinking tea at the time and I really wanted a cake. And I've got this chip and dip bowl that looks like the Death Star, and I kind of looked at that and thought that was a great name as well. But when I'm thinking about it, might not be that great. But anyway, suggestions are welcome. Email me, info@djforcex.com. That is also a way to send me music and stuff. Please send me Dropbox links or download links. Do not send me the files in the email because I have very limited web space for that. But yeah, that's the way of getting music submissions to me, or via Twitter at DJForceX, or on Facebook at DJForceX as well. And you can listen to my radio show on mixcloud.com/DJForceX. And it's always on demand there. There's about 130 odd episodes up there right now. So there's plenty of music for you to listen to. But yeah, I'm rambling. But if you guys can do that for me, leave the reviews, all that kind of good stuff, that would be awesome. Listen to my radio show on Total Rock on Tuesday nights at 11 o'clock and on the Mix.fm midnight Saturdays Eastern Time. That would be fantastic. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with the interview now, because that's probably what half of you are here for. This is AJ Channer from Fire of the Gods. Enjoy. I'd like to welcome AJ Tanner to the show this week. He is the vocalist from the band Fire from the Gods. They have a new album out on the 26th of August on Rise Records called Narrative. Welcome, AJ, and how are you doing today?
Great. What's going on, people?
Yeah, and it's all good this end.
Love it.
So you guys...
Yeah, man, so Narrative, 26, man.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I've heard a couple of tracks from it. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a metal hip-hop kind of mix, but like sort of with a tinge of hardcore in there as well, kind of like a Stuck Mojo or a Hacktivist type band, if that's sort of a fair comparison for you. But it's it's cool. It's out on the 26th, as I already said, on Rise. So you're currently on tour. You're on the OTEP Equal Rights, Equal Lefts tour. How's that been for you so far?
Not bad, actually. OTEP has her sort of hardcore legion of fans who are very devoted to her and her cause and who she is as an artist. And, the first thing going into it was, will they be accepting of Fire from the Gods and our kind of brand, brash, sort of in your face, but at the same time you've got some melody as well. So would they really be into it? Is it going to be too heavy? We're definitely the heaviest band on the bill. I mean, there are heavy OTEP tracks, but I think we're for sure kind of more in your face, and she's got her own sort of brand of performance style. But getting back to the question, it's been quite good, actually. Yeah. The response has been phenomenal. The fans have really accepted us, her fans, and, we're on with Dollskin as well, who is more of like a punk rock, kind of all-chick punk, so they have their own vibe going. Everyone's really been accepting and been Sirius XM and getting radio spins and that. The interest in Fire from the Gods has increased tremendously as the tour has progressed. So it's just been getting better and better, so to speak. Nice.
So is this your first album?
This is Fire from the Gods' first label release. Fire from the Gods has had two previous EPs. Okay. One which was named Sweet Lost and Revenge, which came out, I want to say, at the back end of 2011, 2012. And that was done at Tim Lambesis' studio. That was more of a standard metalcore record, straightforward metalcore, kind of Parkway Drive-ish, really, really abrasive, heavy, no clean vocals or anything, and very little melody, more just brash, in-your-face metalcore. And then there was another EP right at that came out 2013, 2014, known as Politically Incorrect, which, featured a different vocalist and some different players. So it had a different spin to it, but it had that hip hop kind of vibe, and the band really felt that. And, with the lineup change, I came in and it was like, let's try and continue in that fashion, but let's do something that's a little bit more indicative of our style and our diversity, especially with three new members in the band. So, this is the first record that we've done as the current iteration of Fire from the Gods, and this is our first record release. So yeah, this is basically our debut record.
Nice. Excellent. So from what I've read about your band and yourself, in fact, you're quite well travelled, having lived in many corners of the globe. How has that influenced you as a person and a musician, and do you differentiate between the two, or is it one and the same?
You know what, it's taken a few years to really accept exactly, everyone goes through trials and everyone goes through stuff, and everyone has what they go through in life, and it shapes them as a person. But as a musician, you're kind of obligated to not live a double life, but because it's very difficult to separate the person and the artist, and the individual from the artist, because it's ingrained in you. So my background and diversity is all kind of melted together and just shaped me as a person, and then in turn influences my art and influences my musicianship and influences me as a musician. So it is one and the same, and I come from a Jamaican background, born in the States, lived in London, lived in Ghana, West Africa. So all of that has definitely influenced me musically, from just hip hop and reggae, in New York and London, and I got exposed to ska and punk rock at a very early age, and two-tone and dub and all that. So being around different forms of music and different types of music growing up was always a thing. It wasn't it wasn't strange to me, and it seemed strange to some people because how do you differentiate what you listen to as a kid? Some people, you're born in certain parts of the States, all you're going to hear is country music, and that's going to influence you. Jameson, for one, our guitar player, and Bonner, they're from small towns in Texas, so they come from that sort of country background and that rock background, and that is shaped who they are as a person. But they still are in a metal band because obviously we share this commonality of being metalheads or being fans of heavy music. But our diversity as a band and my diversity as a background is definitely, my background has shown through tremendously on this record and in everything that we're doing now. So yeah, it's very difficult to say differentiate the two, who I am as AJ Chana and who I am as AJ Chana 1/5 of Fire from the Gods. And we didn't set out to just say, listen, we're going to write a tune that's got a reggae vibe to it, or we're going to write a tune that's got a hardcore vibe to it, or we're going to write a tune that's got more of a rock alt vibe to it. We just basically gave every song the attention that it needed, and what came through is what came through. It wasn't planned. Yeah. So it again, there you go. It's very difficult to differentiate from the person. I didn't say, okay, I'm gonna do this reggae bit here on Excuse Me, or I'm gonna rap here. It was just like I freestyled it and it came. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No, you can definitely hear all those influences in the track that everyone can hear right now, Empire. Which you've got a video out on YouTube and everywhere as well. And you can definitely hear all those different vibes in that song. Like you say, where you've been influenced from, the sort of like two-tone ska, reggae side of things, and also the sort of heavier element of the hardcore, the metalcore, sort of all thrown in. And it's a hell of a track, by the way, just to give you a heads up.
Cheers, well, thanks.
I look forward to hearing the complete album. I haven't been sent the whole album yet, but I look forward to hearing, because it's really kind of one of my pet sounds, if you will, is that kind of like crossover sort of metal and hip hop sort of sounds. So no, it's really cool. What you how's your album been? I know it's not out yet, but how's it been accepted by the critics so far? Have you had any feedback that end?
You know what? Everything that we've heard and knock on wood has been very positive. I've got a few friends, obviously, in the UK that are with Rock Sound, and Rock Sound did an interview, and they were very stoked on it. Like, dude, this is great. We love it. It sounds great. And then a friend of mine who's got a mate that works at Rock Sound sent me a message via Facebook, and he's like, "Yo, everyone is stoked. I've heard the record's a banger." So it's been pretty positive. And the most important thing is that we were really happy with the record. Our producers were happy with the record, and the label was happy with the record. And so that in itself, I guess, gave us enough confidence to know that we were going to go into this with a pretty decent product, and we weren't going to be disappointed. But you obviously have those that are the detractors that are going to say, well, your music is generic, or your music is this, your music's that. But that's just life, and that's just the scene that we come from. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It's very different from other forms of music. Like when you listen to Nickelback, fans are huge Nickelback fans, and the world over, Five Finger Death Punch, the world over loves these bands. But coming from the scene that we come from, there's a lot of nitpicking, and there's a lot of it is what it is. Ride Records drops a track for a band, and then everyone comes out the woodwork and starts comparing it to something, and they're, okay, it's not this, so I don't like it. It's not that. So from the industry side of things, it's been very positive. From the public, I think there's, the video and the comments and stuff speak for itself. But are there detractors? Yeah, there are. Are we happy with our record? For sure.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that's good. That's the main thing. As long as you're happy with it, That's all good. It's just I'm not exposed to the magazines and stuff as much anymore living here in Florida, as you can probably tell from the UK originally. But you know, and I don't get the sort of vibe I get from what I used to get from bands. That's why I always ask, like, you know, what are the magazines thinking about it, you know, and it's good to hear that Rock Sound are supporting you. They've always been a stellar magazine, if you will. So
yeah. I think Alpern's also going to do a bit on the record. So, you know, once we release the record, Excuse Me has come out of the gate, you know, like, wow, that was the response in Excuse Me was tremendous. But, you know, there are other tracks on the record, you know, like if you've heard maybe, I think, In Transmission or Public Enemy, which are quite different. And, you know, it still has the same vibe. It still has the same players on the record, the same songwriters. On the as the other songs, but they're very different. So we'll see.
Yeah, cool. So obviously you're on tour at the moment. What are your plans post this tour? As we're chatting now, the album comes out on Friday. Have you got anything post album release to sort of carry on the momentum with?
Yeah, we've got some spot dates coming up with We Came as Romans and Counterparts. We just signed on with Circle Talent as our booking agency. Cool. So I know they're working on a few things, and the label's been very, very cooperative and really excited. So I know they're working in a different arena, you know, to push the band in a certain direction. So we know that they're working on some pretty big things, and we're pretty excited about it. None that, obviously, the We Came as Romans hasn't really been announced yet, but there are dates and promoters are already, you know, they're ahead of the curve. So because they want to pack a show, so they'll start announcing. So it's on the web now that we're going to be playing some dates with We Came as Romans and Counterparts. Nice. Which they're going to be on tour with Parkway Drive, but I guess we're doing kind of off dates with them. Cool. So, you know, that's what we got in the bag at the moment. But I know 2017, man, is going to be a big year. You know, we're really trying to play as many festivals as possible. Yeah. Not sure if we're going to get overseas just as yet. You know, being that obviously I spent time in England, I want to play London. You know, I want to get over there and you know, just show everyone that, you know, I've made a little something of myself.
Yeah. Now, how long were you living in England for?
Going back and forth between the States and London since I was about 3. But okay. I spent a majority of time in New York and then back and forth, and I'll be in London, back in New York. You know, I had family on both sides, so it just worked out that way. Cool.
What part of London, if you don't mind me asking?
Finsbury Park.
Nice. All right. Yeah. I'm from the sort of like suburbia area of London, the southeast area in Surrey. Okay. If you know the area.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm originally from. So I know London very well. So.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of questions left for you, and I'll let you get back to the tour life, if you will. So these are more sort of directed directly at you, in as much as they're sort of. I asked every artist that I interview these questions. So, First one's quite a good one. Your 3 top albums. Now, these are albums that have kind of influenced you and molded you into the person that you are today.
Ooh.
And only 3.
3? Damn. All right, that's fine. The Clash, London Calling.
Nice.
Slipknot's first self-titled.
Yeah.
And Battle of Los Angeles. Or, you know, damn, Evil Empire was a good one too, Rage Against the Machine. So pretty much anything Rage. Damn, man, that's tough, man.
Well, that was 3. You got 3 out there, so you knocked it out quicker than most. So that's kind of cool. What do you do away from music? So when you're not out touring, you're not writing, what do you do?
Dude, I play as much footy as I possibly can.
Yeah?
Yeah. I play as much ball as I can. I try to stay as active. I just moved to Austin, so I'm looking, you know, the band's already lived in Austin in Texas. I'd been living in New York up until about May. Mm-hmm. So, you know, New York, I'm, like I said, very heavily involved in, like, the football subculture. Yeah. You know, so hosting events. I did a lot of work for Nike as far as, like, you know, being an MC and getting involved in the subculture, you know, and I take an affinity for history. So I read a ton of history. and study kind of try and study languages and such and all that. So I'm a big nerd, man.
Nice.
And in that regard, and then the normal shit that people do, man. Mate, feed, kill, and repeat.
Nice. And what was your team? What was your football team?
Arsenal.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually a Liverpool fan. So,
is it?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was a big Liverpool fan, obviously for John Barnes,
Yeah.
Every Jamaican to find his equal had to be we all had to support Johnny Barnes.
You did. Yeah. But I'm from the South, but I do support that team, so through thick and thin. So it's going to be an interesting season coming up, so it's already been bipolar, so I hope it doesn't continue in as much. So
start off well. I know you didn't take the mick about that first game, so it's all good.
No, I'm not. I'm not that kind of supporter. It was a game. That game could have gone either way. So, and then we got taken by Burnley at the weekend, which was I watched the game, and it was like we just had the ball for 80% of the game, and then they hit us on the counter twice. And that was it. We had no response at all. So
we were in the middle of absolute nowhere. So I've got like the NBC Sports app, and it was just spotty, just in and out. Like it took me about a good 2.5 to 3 hours to watch the Arsenal game, but just buffering and replaying. So I didn't even know what was going on in the other game.
Yeah, it's tricky. I hear, and it's like, and people like it's nice we can watch those games at 3 p.m. that you can never watch in the UK.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's one thing my family and friends over back in England are like. You can watch those games. I'm like, yeah,
we got everything. Exactly.
Yeah, any game I want, online and offline. So it's all good.
There are a ton of expats in New York as well, man. So like the supporters groups, we all get together and stuff like that. So it is a pretty knit community in New York. So you're not very far off from England in New York City. I know in other places in the States you find like the one random expat, the one random like Brit, and you just you kind of cling or you form this kind of friendship,
Yeah.
In New York, it's like everyone is everywhere. You can walk down the street and just find someone that's been in New York for 40 years, but they'll still have a bit of an accent. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, and then you get together and it's like, well, who do you support? And then from there on, then you have these little sort of English tribes in and out New York City that are all connected.
Yeah, you get them here as well. They're it's funny because my line of work, I speak to a lot of people. And you're right. They've been here, people have been here 15, 20 years. And you start speaking to them and then their accent starts coming back through. And it's...
Exactly.
It's quite funny in some respects. So
Exactly.
Because I can hear that in you. I can hear your American accent, but I can hear your London accent.
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
In and out.
In and out. And it's like, I haven't quite lost mine yet. I've only been here for about 4 years, so...
When I saw your name, I was like, oh, it must be in the UK. And then when I heard you, it's like, oh, definitely in the UK.
Yeah.
And I figured that's why we're doing the interview this early.
Yeah. So, fine. Last question. Just where can people reach your band?
Everywhere. We're on the interwebs, Instagram, Facebook, obviously through the label, Rise Records. The YouTube channel is all filtered through Rise Records now, so anything Fire from the Gods is going to go through our label and on YouTube. So if you Rise Records and then you go to their channel, you'll probably see the video for Excuse Me. We've got another video coming out quite soon with the release of the record and a bunch of listening videos, and that'll all be on YouTube. But anywhere that you can find any music, man, we don't. Obviously, now that we're signed, we're not on Bandcamp or any of that stuff. Well, you can probably still listen to some of the old music. And people kind of get a kick out of it when they hear where a band has come from as opposed to where they are now. So everyone on the net, man, the Google machine.
The Google machine. Use that Google foo. All right, AJ. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope the rest of the dates go well for you. I think you've got a couple left, haven't you?
Yeah, we're back in Texas now for 2, and then we're going to make our way to the West Coast to finish up, and then we'll be back home by the 1st of September, and then ready to go back out in late September with those spot dates I was on about with.
Nice.
Weekend Romans.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm going to look out, see if you're coming through Tampa again. Because I said, I'd missed it beforehand. So
for sure.
But yeah. All right, cool, man. Well, thank you very much, and you have a good rest of your day. All right.
Cheers, pal. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Peace.